Hello beautiful people and welcome to the channel Life After Narc. My name's Debbie and I talk about all things to do with narcissistic, abusive and toxic relationships as well as looking at healing from them. And today's video, Fear of the Narc. Now I did a short last week that was based on, well, that's what this is based on, is the short that I did, and it's a deeper delve into why we are afraid of the narcissist and what we can do around that fear. Before I get into the body of the video, if you enjoy it, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and share with your friends, family, anyone who you think may benefit. I hope that you do so that I get to see you the next time I upload a video. So, fear of the narc. Now, you may still be in a narcissistic relationship, or you may have left, or they may have left. Either way, in any of those situations, you're probably still going to have fear of that person, whether that be from physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, or sexual abuse. All of them are as bad as each other. All of them are uncalled for in a relationship, and all of them are able to create fear within you. Because if you're going through emotional abuse, it can lead to physical abuse, which can lead to sexual abuse. And my heart goes out to all of you who have experienced this, because I've been there. I know what it's like, and I know that you can heal, and I know that you can get through it. So you are the victim of this relationship. You are the empath. They are the narcissist. Now, I want to remind everybody that I'm not talking about somebody who has been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder or NPD. I'm talking about people with narcissistic traits here. To diagnose NPD, somebody would have to be, go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and be diagnosed that way. I'm talking about people with narcissistic traits. Now, why do we have this fear? Why do we have this strong connection with them? Well, it's to do with the trauma bond that was created between you and them. Through every little bit of trauma you have gone through with them, it has created a bond. They hurt you, they loved you. They hurt you, they loved you. They hurt you, they loved you. And over time, this is a pattern that we begin to believe is going to be repeated time and time again. And finally, when it doesn't, when the narcissist leaves and they hurt us, there is no loving us afterwards. And so we feel that little bit more attached to them. And it can create a huge sense of loss within you. It probably will create a huge sense of loss within you. And that's perfectly normal. That is perfectly fine. And you're going to feel those emotions. You're going to go through all of those dreadful emotions that people go through when there's a breakup, except that your emotions are probably going to be more intense due to the nature of the trauma that you were subjected to. So if you are still living with the narcissist, you may well be aware that you are feeling fear of them, but perhaps you don't realize it, or perhaps you haven't put it into words or written it down. So let's say, for example, you find yourself walking around them on eggshells. They've had too much to drink, or they're in a bad mood, and you know that they're going to take it out on you because they don't want to face the fact that it is their fault. It is their emotion. So you end up bearing the brunt of it. You tiptoe around them on eggshells, trying to appease them. And some of you may try to offer things such as, can I make you a cup of tea? And the narcissist will snap at you. Some of you will already know that offering this kind of comfort to them does not help, that they will just bite your head off. So if, like me, you were that person who was afraid that they were going to snap at you, I would just leave them alone, go into my room, stay there. There was no point in trying to engage with them in any way, shape or form. You weren't going to get a clear conversation. You were just going to get snapped at, perhaps called names, voices raised, and so on. So you will know, if you're still in that relationship, the things that you can do to protect yourself from their rage. Perhaps you're afraid of them coming home from work. I know that I would sit and wait to hear my ex's car pulling up on the drive, the keys in the door, and lo and behold, if I'd left the keys in the door and he couldn't get in, the anger that was there, having to wait a couple of seconds while I got to the door to unlock it, was palpable. It was, you could almost see, like a cartoon character, those sort of coming from his head, that sort of vein popping in the side of his forehead. Just this anger from having to wait 2 extra minutes to get into the house. What kind of mood are they going to be in when they arrive? Are they going to be in a good mood, or are they going to be in a vile mood? And you know as well as I do that most of the time they're in a vile mood. What if they come home drunk, or high, or with a friend of theirs? And this is going to create more stress for you, more angst for you. And again, that fear wells deep inside of you. What do you do? The only advice I can give you is to leave. But I know and understand that that might not be possible for all of you, that we are all constrained by finances, by the bills that we have to pay. Perhaps you have a mortgage together or are on a dual tenancy in a rental situation. And this is something that you will need to take up on your own time and in your own way. And don't feel that you are doing something wrong by staying. You aren't. If that's your situation, that's your situation. You just need to remain strong and vigilant. So being afraid of them is a perfectly normal, natural way to be. As I say, it's called hypervigilance. And I remember that when my narcissistic ex was still living here, I would be afraid if I heard his footsteps coming down the hallway in the passage upstairs while I was in bed. I would be terrified. It would immediately, I would go into this protection sort of mode. My room was my protection. My room was the only space where I felt safe. And even then, I didn't feel safe. I'd have to barricade my door to feel safe if I needed to. So this fear is real, and you have every right to be afraid of this person. Perhaps they've left. Did they take their keys with them? You may be afraid of them breaking into the house, perhaps to try and hurt you or to take something of yours that doesn't belong to them. If they've left you, the fear and the hypervigilance can be raised very, very high, because are they stalking you? Are they watching you? Are they waiting outside your home? You know, I've had feelings where I felt that my narcissistic ex was driving past my house and hooting. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. One of my cats went missing, and maybe he took her, maybe he didn't. Again, I don't know. But I was terrified. So changing the locks was a priority for me. Now, if you can't change the locks, keep your keys in the lock. Make sure it's turned, though, so that they can't just push it out. Make sure your windows are locked. You know, I would sleep with things close to me that could protect me if I needed them, and you may feel the same way. One thing you can do, though, is let the police know. Let them know what's happened. Let them know that you are afraid of them. And if necessary, you can take out a non-molestation order on them. We know what the narcissist is capable of. We've seen them throw things. We've seen them scream and shout and stomp around. We've seen them break things. We've seen them acting like spoilt brats. We've had their fists in our face. We've been subject to RAPE in some cases, but we have been subject to their narcissistic personality, toxic, abusive tendencies. So I want you to know that you are okay. to feel that hypervigilance. It will dissipate in time. It will take time, but it will dissipate in time. Try to block them on social media. Try to block all the enablers, their friends, their family, anybody who you think may actually try to contact you to perhaps hurt you a little bit more. Because often what you will find is with the narcissist, their friends and family will start to become their flying monkeys. In other words, they will start to dig at you through social media, emails, text messages, whatever sort of format or platform you have that's open to them. So try and block all of that. You don't need the extra aggro in your life. You are going through possibly one of the most difficult, horrendous times you will ever go through in your life. And having dealt with abusive relationships myself, I know what you're going through. I really, really do. Your fear is real, and it may lead to you having nightmares and bad dreams about them. And that, again, is perfectly normal and natural. I remember waking up in fear sometimes, especially at the beginning, especially after he had first left me, because I was afraid that he was actually there, that he'd somehow gotten into the house. Now, 18 months, 19 months down the line, I don't feel that fear anymore. But I also know that he was with somebody else, whether they're still together or not, I don't know. But once they have that new supply, they probably won't harass you anymore because they're already getting that supply from somebody else. Now, the other thing that we need to be aware of is their baiting. They will say things to you to bait you, to try and get a response or a rise out of you so that you will bite back. Try to avoid that if you can. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult because you want to justify yourself. You want to put them right. You want to say, hey, that's not how it is. It's like this. But there's no point because you can never win against the narcissist. Never. So, as I say, the fear will dissipate over time. You will start to feel better about yourself. As you grow further and further apart, your life will change. You will start to find new interests. You will make new friends. Your life will start again. And I know at the time of them leaving or you leaving them, it doesn't seem like it. But believe me, it does. So in the meantime, stay safe. Take care of yourself and your family if you have children. Seek therapy if you can. Contact your doctor. Let them know what you're going through. They can perhaps put you in the right direction of someone who can help you therapeutically. Use a women's or a men's support group, depending on which sex you are. But most of all, stay strong because you can do this. I promise you can. Being afraid of them after what they have done to you and everything that you've seen in them is perfectly natural and normal. Working through that fear is going to be difficult, but I know that if I can do it, you can do it too. I hope this video has helped. If you've enjoyed it, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Blessed be.